Hello everyone. I want you to imagine something simple, but powerful. 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes. The length of a break, a quick scroll through your phone, a conversation, or even just sitting doing nothing. But now, I want to challenge you with a thought. What if these 15 minutes today held the key to the next 15 years of your life? We often overestimate what we can do in a day, but we underestimate what we can do in a decade and a half. 15 years from now, you'll be older. Yes, but who will you be? What will you stand for? For the year of built, learned, and become. The answer starts now, in this moment. Starts with how you spend your next 15 minutes and how you choose to repeat that every day. The power of small moments. Think of a staircase with hundreds of steps. No one leaps from the ground to the top. It's one step at a time. Life is built the same way. You don't need hours of motivation. You need moments of decision, 15 minutes to plan, to learn, to act, done consistently. These small efforts shape your future more than any grand dream that's never acted on. 15 minutes a day of reading, journaling, exercising, praying, learning a skill, or even just thinking deeply. Those minutes compound into transformation. Vision for the future 15 years is a long time, but it goes by fast. So picture this. You walk into a room and there stands the future version of yourself. Confident, experienced, and fulfilled, or perhaps bitter, tired, and disappointed. That version of you is not created by chance. It's shaped by your choices. You don't need to have your whole life planned, but you do need a direction, a vision. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to become? What legacy do you want to build? Let that image be the compass. Then start steering toward it 15 minutes at a time. Daily habits compound. We live in an age of instant gratification. We want results now, recognition now, rewards now. But the most valuable things, health, wisdom, success, character, are built slowly. 15 minutes of focused effort every day adds up to 91 hours a year. Multiply that over 15 years and it becomes over 1,300 hours. That's the equivalent of working full-time on yourself for over 8 months. What could that do for your future? It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Overcoming distractions and excuses every day, you're going to be tempted. Distracted by things that don't matter. Pulled by people who don't understand your goals. Tired from things that drain your energy. And you'll have excuses. I'm too busy. I'll start tomorrow. Or what's the point? But let me tell you this, 15 minutes a day isn't too much to ask. It's your time. And if you don't control it, someone else will. So take back your minutes. Use them with intention, because excuses don't build futures, habits do. Long-term commitment over short-term motivation. Motivation will come and go. Some days you'll feel inspired. Other days you won't. But if you rely on feelings to guide your actions, your future becomes a gamble. Instead, build a system. Schedule, a rhythm. Show up even when it's hard. Stay consistent even when no one is watching. Trust the process even when you can't yet see the result. That's what long-term commitment looks like. And it's the foundation of any meaningful life. Creating a legacy 15 years from now, you'll be telling a story. Maybe to your children, your students, your community, or even just yourself. What story will it be? A story of growth, purpose, and perseverance, or a story of missed chances and wasted time? Every 15-minute block you use with purpose becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. So use them wisely, because the next 15 years will come no matter what. The question is, will you shape them or will they shape you? So here's the challenge I leave with you. Pick one thing, one dream, one skill, one habit, and give it 15 minutes a day. Protect that time like it matters. Because it does. And if you stay faithful to that small space of time, day by day, I promise you'll wake up one day and realize you've built something extraordinary. 15 minutes a day for 15 years to change your life. Let's start with something we often overlook, the small moments. The quiet, everyday, seemingly unimportant blocks of time that pass by without a second thought. These are the moments that most of us dismiss, thinking they're too short to matter. Just 15 minutes, a coffee break. A wait at the bus stop. Time lost scrolling through a phone, flipping through channels, or chatting aimlessly. But what if I told you that these small passing minutes are the building blocks of the next 15 years of your life? You see, greatness doesn't begin with huge leaps. It begins with intentional, repeated steps. Every mountain is climbed step by step. Every masterpiece is painted stroke by stroke. And every future, yours, mine, everyone's, is built minute by minute, decision by decision, day by day. 15 minutes might not sound like much, but that's exactly the point. It's not intimidating. It's doable. It's manageable. It's something you can start with today. It's a small enough unit of time to break resistance. You don't have to write a novel, start a business, become fit, or master a new language all at once. But you can commit just 15 minutes a day to those things, and that changes everything. Here's how: when you repeat something every day for just 15 minutes, it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, it becomes part of your identity. When it becomes part of your identity, it shapes your decisions. And over time, those decisions become your destiny. Think of it like compound interest. Just like saving a little bit of money every day leads to huge returns years down the line, investing a little bit of time in yourself every day leads to massive personal growth. You won't always see the payoff right away. In fact, in the beginning, it may seem like nothing is changing, but 15 minutes of learning today becomes confidence next year. 15 minutes of writing today becomes a book in 5 years. 15 minutes of practice becomes skill. 15 minutes of reflection becomes wisdom. There's a quote that says, people do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. And that's what small moments are: opportunities to choose better habits. Opportunities to redirect your energy toward the person you want to become. But here's the truth: most people waste these moments. They don't see the value in them. They think change needs to be big, flashy, and instant. But that's a myth. Real change is usually slow, quiet, and built in the shadows of small, unseen effort. And here's another truth: these small moments aren't neutral. You're either using them to build or allowing them to decay. If you're not growing, you're drifting. If you're not choosing how to spend your time, something or someone else is choosing for you. Time is always moving. The question is, are you moving with it or just letting it pass? That's why these small 15-minute moments matter so much, because they're leverage points. They are the cracks in the day where transformation can begin. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're ready. Now, right now. So pause and think, what could 15 minutes a day of intentional effort build in your life? A stronger body? A clearer mind? A deeper relationship? A new career? A more peaceful spirit? Starts here. Not in grand plans, but in small decisions. Not in big events, but in quiet moments. These moments may feel insignificant now, but in 15 years, you'll either be grateful you used them or regretful that you didn't. Close your eyes for a moment. Not right now, but later tonight, when everything is quiet, and try to picture the version of yourself that exists 15 years from now. Not the version others expect. Not the version shaped by fear, doubt, or convenience. I'm talking about your true future self, the one shaped by your deepest hopes, your strongest values, your untapped potential. What does that person look like? Where are they standing? What kind of life have they built? Who surrounds them? What kind of legacy have they begun to leave behind? That vision matters more than you realize. You see, one of the most dangerous things we can do is move through life without a destination. When we live without a clear picture of the future, we get lost in the day-to-day. We start living by reaction, not intention. We follow trends, not values. We settle for survival, not growth. And the years slip by, not because we're not doing anything, but because we're not doing what matters. That's why having a vision for your future is not a luxury. It's a necessity. Vision is not just about having goals. It's about having direction. It's the compass that helps you navigate the chaos of life. It's what gives meaning to the work, energy to the effort, and purpose to the pain. When you have a vision, you can say no to what doesn't align with it. You can focus your time, filter your choices, and fuel your discipline. But vision doesn't just arrive. You don't find it by accident. You must create it. Start by asking yourself real, hard, honest questions. What do I want my life to look like in 15 years? What kind of person do I want to become? What kind of character do I want to be known for? What do I want to be able to say I've built, achieved, or contributed? What kind of relationships do I want to have? What will success truly mean to me? Not by the world's standards, but by my own. Answering these questions doesn't require perfection. It requires reflection. The vision you create today doesn't have to be final. It can evolve. It should evolve. But you need to start somewhere. A vague life will give you vague results. A clear vision, even if imperfect, gives you clarity, energy, and direction. And here's the beautiful part. Once you have a vision, you don't have to take massive leaps to get there. You just need to move in the right direction, consistently. You begin aligning your habits, your time, your conversations, and even your thoughts with that vision. You start living forward, not backward. Your vision becomes a filter. When someone asks you to do something, when a distraction shows up, when an opportunity presents itself, you don't have to be overwhelmed. You simply ask, does this take me closer to the future I want? Or does it take me further away? And let me tell you something important. No one else can define your vision. The world will try to. Social media will try to. Your family, friends, culture, fears, and even your past will all try to paint a picture for you. But if the picture doesn't come from your own heart, your own values, your own calling, it won't satisfy you. You'll achieve things that don't fulfill you, reach places you don't want to be, and live a life that looks successful but feels empty. So build your own blueprint. Be bold about it. Dream bigger than your current circumstances. Your life isn't meant to just drift from one job, one relationship, one routine to another. It's meant to move with purpose, with design, with intention. When you're clear on who you want to be in 15 years, the decisions you make today start to change. You begin to protect your time more fiercely. You stop chasing approval and start chasing growth. You stop avoiding discomfort and start embracing it, because you know it's leading you somewhere meaningful. Vision doesn't make life easier, it makes life clearer. It gives you something to fight for, to work to rise up for when you feel tired. It becomes your internal compass when the world feels noisy and lost. And in those days, because they will come, when motivation is gone and doubt creeps in and you feel stuck or small or behind, your vision is what will remind you, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know where I'm going. If vision is the destination, then habits are the vehicle. They are how we get there, not in one leap, but in small, repeated actions that add up over time. Most people don't fail because they lack dreams. They fail because they lack discipline. Because they think the big things are what matter most, when in reality, it's the small things done daily that truly define who we become. Let's break that down. A habit is something you do so often it becomes part of you. It's wired into your brain. It doesn't require debate, motivation, or decision. It's automatic. And when that habit is positive, whether it's waking up early, reading, exercising, learning, or reflecting, it creates invisible progress one day at a time. The key word here is compound. Because growth, success, health, wisdom, these things don't happen all at once. They happen in layers. Each day of showing up, each small improvement, each repetition adds another layer. That's what compound growth is. A quiet, steady accumulation of effort that one day becomes visible and undeniable. Think about it like this. Imagine you had a single drop of water falling into a jar every day. At first, it looks like nothing is happening. But after a week, there's a visible pool. After a month, it's halfway full. After a year, it's overflowing. That's what habits do. They build something beneath the surface before anyone else can see it. Now imagine what that means for your future. If you dedicate just 15 minutes a day to one meaningful habit, reading, practicing, exercising, writing, meditating, planning, you are investing over 91 hours a year into that one area of growth. Multiply that over 15 years, and that's over 1,365 hours. More than 8 full-time working months spent sharpening your mind, your skills, your health, your purpose. All from a decision to show up consistently, every single day. That's not just progress, that's transformation. And here's the beauty of habits. They don't just build results, they build identity. Every time you act like the person you want to become, you reinforce that identity. If you study every day, even for just 15 minutes, you're telling your brain, I'm a learner. If you show up to work out daily, I take care of my body. If you reflect or journal consistently, I'm someone who thinks deeply. Over time, that identity becomes second nature. You don't have to fight to become that version of yourself. You simply are that person. And that's where real, lasting change comes from, not from external motivation, but from internal alignment. Now, it's important to be honest. The beginning is the hardest part. Starting a new habit feels awkward, inconvenient, slow. You might not see results for days, weeks, even months. That's normal. That's part of the process. The early stages are about faith, believing that even though the change is invisible today, it's working underneath the surface. And yes, you will be tempted to skip days. Life will get busy. Distractions will scream louder. You'll think, it's just 15 minutes. I'll make it up tomorrow. But that's the danger. Because every habit is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. And when you skip too many votes, your identity starts to drift. So protect those habits. Treat those 15 minutes like they matter. Because they do. They're not small. They're foundational. Over time, those minutes will build resilience, confidence, competence, and focus. They will help you withstand setbacks because you've trained yourself to keep going, even when things are hard. And here's something no one tells you. Good habits often start small, but they grow. What begins as 15 minutes of journaling may become a book. 15 minutes of reading may spark a new career. 15 minutes of physical activity may lead to a complete lifestyle shift. That's how powerful they are. They ripple outward. So the real question is not whether you can change your life. The question is, are you willing to do something small every day, knowing it leads to something big one day? Because it will, slowly, quietly, steadily. We live in a world full of noise, constant, relentless noise. Notifications, opinions, trends, advertisements, headlines, obligations. It's louder than ever. And it's never been easier to get distracted, to get pulled off course, to lose focus on what truly matters. We tell ourselves we're busy. We convince ourselves we're overwhelmed. But often the truth is this: we're distracted, not by accident, but by design. Distraction isn't just a side effect of modern life. It's an industry. Every platform, every app, every click is competing for your attention. And attention is power. Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. Your future is shaped by where you direct your focus today. That's why one of the most important challenges you'll ever face is learning to protect your time from things that don't deserve it. Because here's the brutal truth: the next 15 years of your life will be shaped more by what you say no to than by what you say yes to. You will be tempted to waste your most valuable resource, your time, on things that feel urgent but aren't important. You'll want to be liked, to stay comfortable, to avoid difficult choices. You'll want the path of least resistance, and that path is paved with excuses. Let's talk about those excuses, those internal distractions. They're sneaky. They sound reasonable. I'm too tired. I'll start tomorrow. You will need more time, more money, more motivation. I'm not ready yet. But every excuse is just a story we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. And the longer we believe those stories, the more they start to feel like facts. But let me tell you something real. You don't need the perfect conditions to start. You need to start to create the conditions. People who wait for motivation rarely move. People who wait for clarity rarely decide. People who wait for time rarely find it. If you want to grow, if you want to change your life, you have to begin in the middle of the mess, with what you have, where you are, right now. Distraction and excuses are thieves. They steal progress. They steal focus. Most dangerously, they steal years. You blink and 5 years are gone. 10 years. 15. And you look back wondering where the time went. So how do you overcome this? First, get honest with yourself. Identify the distractions that are silently stealing your time. Is it your phone? Endless scrolling, toxic relationships, mindless entertainment. A fear of failure disguised as perfectionism. Name them. Because once you name them, you can confront them. Second, replace excuses with actions. Don't say, "It's choosing not to make time." Say, "I'm choosing not to make time." That shifts the responsibility back to where it belongs, on you. And that's not meant to shame you. It's meant to empower you. Because if the problem is within your control, then so is the solution. Third, simplify your priorities. You can't do everything, and you shouldn't try, but you can do something, and you can do it every single day. That's how momentum is built, not through multitasking, but through focus. Protect a small block of time each day just for you, your goals, your development, your peace. Turn off the noise, block the distractions, make that time sacred. Even if it's just 15 minutes, it matters. It's a daily act of self-respect, a declaration that says, my future is worth this time. And finally, understand this: no one is coming to rescue your schedule. No one is going to hand you more time. No one is going to force you to focus. That's your job. You have to guard your attention like it's your life, because in a very real way it is. Where you give your time, you give your life. And what you give your life to will shape who you become. So the next time you feel tempted to delay, to avoid, to make another excuse, pause. Ask yourself, is this the future I want to be building? Or is this just the easiest thing to do right now? Because the truth is, you don't have to do everything, but you do have to do what matters. The journey toward the life you want, the next 15 years of it, is not going to be smooth. It won't always look like progress. It won't always feel like growth. You will have days, maybe even seasons, where things fall apart. Plans will fail. People will leave. You'll make mistakes. Some doors you wanted so badly to open will stay closed. And in those moments, it won't be your talent, your education, or even your motivation that gets you through. It will be one thing: resilience. Resilience is the muscle that gets built not when life is easy, but when life is heavy. It's what keeps you standing when everything around you feels like it's trying to knock you down. It's what whispers, keep going, when every part of you wants to stop. And if there's one truth about the next 15 years, it's this: if you want to build a life of meaning, you are going to have to become resilient. Resilience is not pretending everything's fine. It's not toxic positivity or hiding your pain. It's acknowledging the difficulty and choosing to continue anyway. It's falling down, but refusing to stay there. It's waking up the next day and showing up again. Not because you feel like it, but because your purpose is bigger than your pain. Some people think resilience means being tough all the time. That's not true. Real resilience is quiet. It's crying and still trying and still trying. It's doubting yourself but not giving up. It's being afraid and still taking the next step, even a small one. And here's something important to understand. Setbacks aren't signs that you're off course. Sometimes they are the course. They are not punishments. They are preparation. Resistance is what builds strength. Struggle is what deepens wisdom. Disappointment is what clarifies desire. Ask anyone who has accomplished something truly meaningful. They'll all tell you the same story. It didn't go how I planned. I failed. I doubted. I hurt. But I didn't quit. Setbacks are your teachers. Pain is often the doorway to purpose. You learn more about who you are in failure than you ever do in comfort. Because when things go wrong, when life feels uncertain or unfair, that's when your real character is revealed. And the beauty is this: resilience is not something you either have or don't. It's something you build. Like a muscle. Every time you choose to keep going, even just a little, you're making yourself stronger for the next challenge. You're proving to yourself that you're capable of withstanding more than you thought. That resilience is what separates those who reach their future from those who settle for less. Not because they were smarter or more gifted, but because they didn't let the storm stop them. They learned how to bend without breaking, how to heal without hardening, how to start again even when they were exhausted. And let's not forget, sometimes resilience means letting go. Letting go of plans that no longer serve you. Letting go of people who drain you. Letting go of timelines you've outgrown. Resilience doesn't always mean pushing harder. It sometimes means being wise enough to pivot, patient enough to wait, or brave enough to begin again. Because the goal isn't to avoid pain. The goal is to grow through it. To come out on the other side not bitter but better. Not defeated but deeper. Stronger, wiser, kinder. More grounded in who you are and what you're building. You can't control every obstacle that will appear over the next 15 years, but you can control your response. You can decide that no matter what life throws your way, you will not abandon yourself. You will keep showing up, You will keep learning. You will keep rising, because that's what resilient people do. If you look ahead at the next 15 years of your life, you might imagine career goals, personal milestones, financial achievements for creative pursuits. And all of those are meaningful, but none of them will matter, not deeply, not fully, if they exist in isolation. Because at the core of a meaningful life lies something more powerful than ambition: connection. Human beings are wired for relationships. From the moment we are born, we look for eyes that see us, voices that understand us, hearts that hold space for who we are. We long to be known, to be loved, to be supported. And over time, it becomes clearer and clearer. The quality of your life is deeply shaped by the quality of your relationships. The next 15 years will test, stretch, and transform you. And during that journey, you're going to need people. Not just anyone, but the right people. People who see your growth and don't feel threatened by it. People who challenge you to become better without trying to control you. People who celebrate your success without comparing it to their own. People who are not perfect, but present. Who show up for you not just in your victories, but in your confusion, your rebuilding, your mess. These are the relationships that matter. Not the ones built on convenience or status or what you can offer, but the ones built on truth, trust, and time. And let's be honest, relationships take work. Real work. They require more than shared interests. They demand vulnerability, communication, patience, and forgiveness. At times, they will frustrate you. At times, they will disappoint you. But if you are willing to invest deeply, intentionally, consistently, you will build connections that don't just last, but elevate you. Because good relationships don't just make life feel lighter. They make you stronger. They help you stay grounded when life tries to shake you. They remind you of who you are when you've forgotten. They offer perspective, peace, and often the wisdom you couldn't find on your own. And just as important as who you let in is who you learn to release. The truth is, not everyone is meant to go with you into the next season of your life. Some relationships were only meant for a chapter, not the whole story. Holding on to people who drain you, diminish you, or distract you from your values doesn't make you loyal. It makes you stuck. You are allowed to outgrow relationships that no longer align with your future. You're allowed to protect your energy, your boundaries, your peace. That's not selfish. That's wise. Surrounding yourself with people who want you to shrink will never lead to growth. You deserve relationships where you don't have to dim your light to be accepted. As the years go by, you'll realize time is too precious to be spent in shallow conversations with people who don't listen. Energy is too limited to be wasted on people who constantly take but rarely give. And love is too sacred to be shared with those who weaponize it. So what do? You become intentional. You build a circle, not a crowd. You prioritize depth over popularity. You make time for the people who water your spirit, not just your social media. You become the kind of person you want to attract. Reliable, kind, honest, curious, open. And most importantly, you pour into the relationships that pour into you. Call your people, check on them, celebrate their wins, sit with them in their pain, tell them what they mean to you. Not someday, not when life slows down. Because the people who walk beside you as you grow, those people are part of your legacy. One day, you won't remember every goal you hit or every challenge you conquered, but you will remember the voices who stood by your side when you wanted to quit. You will remember the hand that reached out when you were in the dark. You will remember the laughter, the honesty, the shared moments that made you feel alive. So as I stand here, looking ahead to the next 15 years of my life, and maybe yours too, I realize it's not about having all the answers today. It's not about knowing exactly how the path will unfold. It's about choosing day by day to walk it with intention. To keep the vision clear, even when the road gets foggy. To build the habits even when no one is watching. To resist distractions even when they offer comfort. To choose growth even when it costs old versions of ourselves. To walk with people who challenge us even when it's uncomfortable. And to love the ones who matter even when life gets busy. Because 15 years from now, none of us will remember every task we completed or every post we liked. But we will remember who we became how we showed up, and the kind of life we built. Not in one big leap, but in thousands of ordinary, intentional moments. That journey starts now. That future begins today. And what we do with the next 15 minutes may just define the next 15 years. Thank you.